ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। Hare Krishna. We are reading from 11th canto, chapter 29, text number 6, chapter entitled as Bhakti Yoga. नैवोपयन्ति अपचितं कवयस्तवेषा नैवोपयन्ति अपचितं कवयस्तवेषा ब्रह्मायुषापि कृतं रुद्रमुदस्मरन्ता ब्रह्मायुषापि कृतं रुद्रमुदस्मरन्ता यो अन्तर्बहिस्तनुभृतम् अशुभं विदुन्वन् यो अन्तर्बहिस्तनुभृतम् अशुभं विदुन्वन् आचार्य चैत्य वपुषा स्वगतिं व्यनङ्क्ति आचार्य चैत्य वपुषा स्वगतिं व्यनक्ति नैवोपयन्ति अपचितं कवयस्तवेषा ब्रह्मायुषापि कृतं रुद्रमुदस्मरन्ता यो अन्तर्बहिस्तनुभृतम् अशुभं विदुन्वन् आचार्य चैत्य वपुषा स्वगतिं व्यनक्ति नैवोपयन्त्यपचितं कवयस्तवेषा मायुषापि कृतं रुद्रमुदस्मरन्ता यो अन्तर्बहिस्तनुभृताम् अशुभं विदुन्वन् आचार्य चैत्य वपुषा स्वगतिं व्यनक्ति नैवोपयन्त्यपचितिं कवयस्तवेषा ब्रह्मायुषापि कृतं रुद्रमुदस्मरन्ता यो अन्तर्बहिस्तनुभृताम् अशुभं विदुन्वन् आचार्य चैत्य वपुषा स्वगतिं व्यनक्ति The translation and the purport by the disciples of His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami. Translation. O my Lord, transcendental poets and experts in spiritual science could not fully express their indebtedness to you, even if they were endowed with the prolonged lifetime of Brahma. For you appear in two features, externally as the Acharya and internally as the Super Soul, to deliver the embodied living being by directing him how to come to you. Purport. According to Srila Jiva Goswami, Lord Krishna is 10 million times more dear to a devotee than life itself. According to Srila Vishnu Chakravarti Thakura, even by rendering devotional service for the total duration of 1000 universal creations, a devotee cannot repay the debt he feels to the Lord for having awarded him loving service to the Lord's lotus feet. The Lord appears within the heart as the super soul and externally both as the spiritual master and as his literary incarnation, the supreme Vedic knowledge of Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Gadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश श्रीरूपं साग्रजातां सहगना रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सहगना ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश नमः ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिन्निति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे नमो महावदन्याय कृष्णप्रेमप्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्णचैतन्या नामिने गौरत्विषे नमः। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेशा गोपिकान्ता राधाकान्ता नमोऽस्तुते सप्तकाञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैता गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna. First of all, I would like to welcome all the devotees for the Bhagavatam class, and I would like to seek all of your blessings and permission to express some of my thoughts on this verse and also on the teachings of Uddhav Gita. So here in this 29th chapter, this is the last chapter of Uddhav Gita, wherein Lord Krishna is going to give the conclusion of his teachings, which he gave to Uddhava for the past 22 chapters. This is the 23rd chapter of the Uddhav Gita. So after hearing on various subject matters, karma, jnana, yoga, and bhakti, in the last chapter, he heard about one aspect of jnana, that is Advaita Vada. So now Uddhava is saying that that is very difficult for people in general to practice, unless until someone is very dedicated. Otherwise, it is impractical. So please, can you tell a easy process which will be practicable for everyone? So telling that in the last verse, 5th verse and 6th verse, Uddhava is expressing his gratitude to Lord Krishna on behalf of all the living entities. So in this verse especially he is telling that Naivopayanti apachitam kavayas tavesha brahmayushapi krutam smaranta. He says that even the great learned people who are known as kavis and who are great intelligent people filled with knowledge and wisdom, remembering what you have done for all of us, krutam smaranta, even if they were given the lifetime of Brahmayushapi, they will not be able to express their gratitude to your lotus feet. Na eva upayanti, they will not be able to express their gratitude to your lotus feet. Because as soon as they remember what you have done for them, their happiness increases. Ruddha muda. And when they express their gratitude, again it increases. Again they express gratitude, again it increases. There is no end to their expression of gratitude. Just like Prithu Maharaj, after hearing from the 4 Kumaras, the subject matter of Jnana and Bhakti, He tells that Vinoda Patram. If somebody want to say that I can repay for what I have received from you, they are like Vinoda Patram, joker, because no one can repay what a guru or the Supreme Lord gives us. So then now the question comes, okay, what he has given, because of which you say I cannot repay you, even if I have given a lifetime of Brahma. So Uddhava says, Yo antar bahis tanubrutam. You appear internally as Paramatma, who acts as Chaitya Guru, and you appear externally as Acharya, who acts as Shiksha Guru and Diksha Guru. By appearing in these two forms, you do two things. One is Ashubham Vidunvan. You destroy the Ashubha in the life of a conditioned soul and make their life auspicious. And how you make their life auspicious and how you destroy their Ashubha? Acharya Chaitya Vapusa Swagatim Venanti. By becoming Acharya outside as Shiksha Guru, Diksha Guru, and as Chaitya Guru inside, who is Paramananda and Paramatma, you teach them about Swagatim Venanti, the path back home, back to Godhead. By teaching the suitable process according to the time, place, circumstances, according to the mentality of the person, you make them return to the spiritual world. This is your wonderful activity. Lord is glorified in the Bhagavatam as Adbhuta Karmana, who performs wonderful activities. So this is one of the wonderful activities of the Supreme Lord, by which he did this, externally appearing as Acharya, internally appearing as Paramatma. He teaches us what we are supposed to do and where we are supposed to go. In Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhyalila, chapter 20, Sanatana Goswami approaches Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and expresses his desire, what he wanted to hear from Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Ke ami kena jara tapatrai. Who am I? Why am I going through all these miseries? And please tell me, Sadhya Sadhana Vishayas. I don't know what is Sadhya and what is Sadhana. Please tell me about Sadhya and Sadhana. Then Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says that Jivera Swarupai Krishnera Nityadas. Jiva's constitutional position is Krishna's eternal servant. Jiva, the relationship between Jiva and the Supreme Lord is like that. Surya and Surya Kirana. Just like sun is like the Lord and sunlight, sun ray is like the Jiva. That is the relationship between the Supreme Lord and Jiva. And then he says that, but say Jiva, that Jiva forgetting Krishna, Krishna Buli Anadi Bahirmukha. From time immemorial, they turned his face away from Krishna. Because of that, the Maya Devi gave him samsara, the perpetual existence of repeated birth and death. And on his own, Jiva cannot understand what he is doing and what he should be doing and where he should be going. So here Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says that Maya Mukta Jiva Swata Nahi Swata Krishna Jnana. Being bewildered by Maya, the Jiva has no capacity to understand about himself and understand about the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So in order to make the Jiva understand who is he, who the Supreme Lord is, Jiva Krupai Koila Krishna Veda Puran. The Supreme Personality of Godhead gave us Vedas and Puranas, studying which we can understand who we are, where we are supposed to go. So how Lord Krishna helping us? Shastra Guru Atma Rupe Apanara Janana Krishna Mora Prabhu Tata Jivera Hoi Jnana. Shastra Rupe, Guru Rupe and Paramatma Rupe. The Supreme Lord will help us understand who we are, who the Supreme Lord is, by which we understand our constitutional position and practicing which, that is mentioned in the Vedic literature, we will go back home, back to Godhead. This is the service which Lord does for all of us. So for that, we can never express our gratitude to the Supreme Lord. So this is the intention with which Uddhava expressing his gratitude onto Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna. So now, taking a clue from this sloka and taking a clue from the purport in which the commentators mention about Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam, now we will try to see what Lord Krishna is trying to teach us through the medium of Veda and Purana. which he mentioned in the Chaitanya Charitamrita. So this is like I given a title that this is the essence of Bhagavad Gita and Uddhava Gita. We try to see the essence of Bhagavad Gita and Uddhava Gita, touching upon the important aspects of this section. So before getting into it, here we are trying to examine the meaning of one verse that Lord Krishna quoted in 15th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. 15:15. Vedesha sarve ahameva vedyo Vedanta krut veda videva chaham. Lord Krishna says, I am supposed to be known by studying the Vedas. And why Krishna is supposed to be known? How Krishna will be known will be the topic of our discussion today. So before getting into details of this particular phrase, we'll try to refer to Uddhava Gita and some of the things connected to Uddhava Gita and Bhagavad Gita from other places of Srimad Bhagavatam. In Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 6, the pastime of Chitraketu Maharaj is mentioned. So when Chitraketu Maharaj is being initiated by Narada Muni, he performs severe austerities, chanting the mantra taught by till Narada Muni. In 7 days he becomes Vidyadhara. In another 7 days he has darshan of Lord Sankarshana. Then he offers wonderful prayers unto Lord Sankarshana. After hearing all these prayers, Lord Sankarshana says that, my dear Chitraketu, my dear king, I understand that you have understood the special nuances of bhakti by seeing through your prayers, but you lack knowledge. In order to make you indifferent to questioning, which you have done when your son died, both wife and husband actually kind of questioned the Supreme Lord, questioned the existence of Supreme Lord, questioned the compassionate nature of the Supreme Lord. Now Lord is saying that I will give you jnana by which you will become indifferent to such questioning. Then in his reply, in one of the verses, Lord Sankarshana says that Aham vai sarva bhutani bhutatma bhuta bhavana Shabda Brahma Parabrahma Mamobe Shashwati Sanu. He said that Aham vai sarva bhutani, I am all the living entities. Bhutatma, I am the super soul of all the living entities. Bhuta Bhavana, I am the cause of all the living entities. Shabda Brahma and Parabrahma are my eternal forms. The meaning of this verse is, in the entire material and spiritual creations, everything that you see, that you hear about, can be divided into two categories. Something is called real, something is called unreal. Everything that is there in the both material world and spiritual world can be divided into two parts, real and unreal. And the category of real, there are two divisions. What something is permanent, something is temporary. Even if something is real also, it can exist eternally and it may exist only for small time. And those things, those real objects which are permanent are again two parts. One is Shabda Brahma, the Vedic literature, which are the breathing of the Supreme Lord, and Parabrahma, which is explained in all through Vedic literature in three features: Brahman, Paramatma, and Bhagavan. And in the commentary, when it is mentioned, Brahman is mentioned in singular, Paramatma is singular, but Bhagavan is mentioned in plural. Bhagavan does not stay alone. Brahman and Paramatma stays alone, but Bhagavan does not stay alone. He always stays with his devotees, indirectly indicating the spiritual world. Bhagavan resides in the spiritual world with many unlimited thousands and millions of Vaikuntha Vasis. And then, what are the temporary real objects? The temporary real objects are again twofold. One is the entire material universe, and also all the living entities that are living in the material world. These two are real, but they are temporary. Their existence is temporary. Even Jiva living in the material world is called temporary because as long as we live in the material world, we identify with our body. Currently, I say I am human being, I am a male, like that. This identity is temporary. That's why Jiva is considered to be temporary. And then the second category of objects are unreal. There are two types of unreal objects again. Some of the unreal objects are experienced, those which we experience in the dream. Whatever objects we go through, we get in the dream, they're actually unreal. When the dream is over, there is no existence for them. But as long as the dream is going on, we experience them. A tiger is chasing us, we might be falling from the cliff, etc. We actually experience them. But as soon as the dream is over, we don't experience. Similarly, those objects which we experience in the magic, any magic show, if you go, as long as the magic show is going on, we experience everything. When you come out, even though in the magic show, the magician might create so much, rupees, it may be in our pocket. When you come out, it will disappear. It has no existence. And same way, there are some objects are unreal, unexperienced objects. They are called those objects we think about in daydreaming. Even while sitting here also, I can think of so many things which I don't experience and they are not real. And those objects of imagination, like flowers in the sky, horns of the rabbit, etc., etc. Like these are the four categories in the entire material and spiritual creation. And what Lord want to tell us by indicating this is, apparently we are in the state of second level, that is temporary real object. We are living entities living in the material world, that is second stage. But our consciousness might be in the dreaming or daydreaming, night dreaming or daydreaming. So Lord is indicating that you have to raise your consciousness from unreal, unexperienced to unreal experienced, then real temporary, then eventually real permanent. How we can do that? By taking shelter of Shabda Brahma. By taking shelter of Shabda Brahma, we can come to the position of the permanent real. That means we can become an associate of Parabrahma, either Brahman, Paramatma, or Bhagavan. So how is this possible is also mentioned in the Bhagavatam first canto, first chapter, wherein it says that Vedyam Vastava Matravastu Shodham Tapatrayon Mulanam. Vedyam Vastava Vastu. The Vastava Vastu is being described in Srimad Bhagavatam. By taking shelter of Srimad Bhagavatam, one will understand what is the Vastava Vastu, the eternal reality. And following the path prescribed in Bhagavatam, we can approach the shelter of that eternal reality. That is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is called in Bhagavatam as Vasudeva. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudeva. He is the Vastava Vastu. So keeping this in the background, now he is telling about taking shelter of Shabda Brahma. So what do you mean by Shabda Brahma? The Vedic literature indicates that Shabda Brahma is nothing but the 18 division of Vedic knowledge. There are 4 Vedas, Rig Veda, Yajurveda, Samaveda, Atharvaveda, and there are 6 Vedangas, which are called as Shiksha, Kalpa, Vyakarana, Nirukta, Jyotisha, and Chanda. These 6 Vedangas are mentioned in order for us to understand the meaning of the Vedas. Shiksha is about phonetics, how to pronounce, how to read, and Vyakarana is about grammar, and Chandas is about the meter with which the Vedas are compiled. These 3 actually help us how to read the Vedas, how to understand the Vedic literature. Then after understanding that, what we are supposed to do it, in order to understand the actual meaning of the Vedas, there is 4th one also, Nirukti, that is dictionary. Then how we have to use the Vedic knowledge? That is Kalpa. Kalpa will talk about variety of rituals, how we should perform the rituals. And then finally there is Jyotisham. And Jyotisham will tell us when to perform the ritual, where to perform the ritual, and why to perform the ritual. These are the 6 Vedangas. And then there are 4 Upavedas. They are called as Ayurveda, Dhanurveda, Gandharva Veda, and Sapatya. So whatever engineering, medicine that the modern day is very much phantasmagrized with all the different types of college educations, they are all nothing but derivation from these 4 angas. Ayurveda, that is all about medicine. Dhanurveda, that is all about military. And Gandharva Veda, that is all about music and arts. And Sapatya, that is all about engineering and construction. And at other place it is also mentioned that Artha, Gana refers to singing, Artha refers to economic development. These are the four things which are there prevalent in the modern society. These are all derived from Vedic literature. These are all called as Shrutis. The four Vedas, six Vedangas and four Vedas, they are all Shrutis. And then there are four more. They are categorized in the part of Smruti and Nyaya. They are Mimamsa, Nyaya, and Dharmashastra, Purana Itihasani. Mimamsa is Purva Mimamsa, that can be called as Karma Mimamsa, and Nyaya is Uttara Mimamsa, that can be called as Brahma Sutras. These two can be seen as Nyaya, and Dharmashastras and Purana Itihasas can be seen as Smruti. So these are the 18 divisions of the Vedic literature, which can be again recategorized in the form of Shruti, Smruti, and Puranas. Later on, in the Vedas, there are again four divisions. I mean, in the Vedas, there are again four divisions. That is Rigveda, Samaveda, Yajurveda, Atharvaveda. And in Rigveda, there are 21 subdivisions. Yajurveda, 100 subdivisions. Other Samaveda, there are 1000 subdivisions. Atharvaveda, there are 9 subdivisions. And each of the subdivision is further divided into 4 parts. They are called as Samhita, Brahmana, Aranyaka, and Upanishad. Thus, in total, there are 1130 Samhitas, 1130 Brahmanas, and 1130 Aranyakas, and the same number of Upanishads. This many divisions are there among the Vedas, but currently we don't have all of them. We can find 11 Samhitas, 18 Brahmanas, 7 Aranyakas, and 200 plus Upanishads. This is what we are left with out of the vast Vedic knowledge. But the Vedic seers, they say that among these 4 divisions, Samhita, Brahmana, Aranyaka, Upanishad, the Upanishads are considered to be the head of the Vedas. They are the head of the Vedas. And in Bhagavad Gita, from Gita Mahatmya, we read that Sarvopanishado Gavo Dogda Gopala Nandana Partho Vasta Sudhir Bhokta Dugdam Gita Amrutam Mahat. When all the Upanishads are considered to be cow, Krishna as cowherd boy, keeping Arjuna as calf, for the purpose of all the intellectual people, he derived the essence of the cow of all the Upanishads in the form of Gita. So, Bhagavad Gita is the essence of Upanishads, which are the essence of the Vedas. This is one side. Another side, in the Bhagavatam, first canto mentions that Nigama Kalpataror Galitam Phalam. If you consider all the Vedic literature to be a tree, the essence of the tree is the fruit, just like mango now in demand. So that phala is Srimad Bhagavatam, and which is glorified in various Puranas. That Bhagavatam is the natural commentary of Vedanta Sutra, which is also considered to be the essence of all the Vedic literature and also the essence of all the Upanishads from another side. Just like Bhagavad Gita, the essence of Upanishads, and Vedanta Sutra is also essence of Upanishads. And the commentary to that Vedanta Sutra is Srimad Bhagavatam. Arthoyam Brahma Sutranam Bharatartha Vinirnaya, etc. etc. It goes on in the Garuda Purana. So in that way, we can understand that from all these 18 divisions of Vedic literature, their essential meaning we can understand by reading Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam. And in Srimad Bhagavatam, second canto, Sri Sukadeva Goswami says that this Bhagavatam describes its meaning in 10 divisions. Atra sarga visargacha sanam poshanamutaya manmantareshanukata nirodha mukti rashraya. So why these 10 divisions are described? There is a purpose. He says that Dashamasya Vishuddhartham Navana Mihalakshanam. In order to prescribe the spotless character of the 10th item, the 9 items are spoken in Srimad Bhagavatam or other Puranas or other Vedic literatures. So, in a way, the first 9 topics, starting from Sarga all the way up to Mukti, they describe about Jiva. what a living entity does in the material world. That is being described in these 9 topics. And the 10th topic talks about Ishvara, what the Supreme Lord does as and when he comes to material world and as he stays in the spiritual world. The 9 topics talk about Jiva, 10th topic talk about Ishvara. And why they are supposed to talk about Jiva and Ishvara? They say that by taking shelter of Shabda Brahma, we are supposed to go to Parabrahma. Parabrahma is Ishvara. And the meaning of Shabda Brahma is explained through these 9 divisions of the Purana, wherein it talks about the Jiva in his 2 features. One is the Jiva is the sadhaka, who is practicing a particular sadhana, and for the benefit of that Jiva, sadhana is also described. What sadhana Jiva is supposed to practice? Through these 9 topics in the 11 cantos of Srimad Bhagavatam, out of 10, in exception of 10th canto, remaining 11 cantos, the entire Bhagavatam talks about sadhana and different variety of sadhakas. The Vedas in general describe sadhanas, but the Puranas teach us how a sadhana is practiced by a jiva in this material world and attained perfection. That is described through various pastimes such as Dhruva Maharaj, Prutu Maharaj, Prachetas, Prahlad Maharaj, like that. They are all comes in the category of sadhakas, and the sadhana has been described in 3 sections of Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam. The entire Bhagavad Gita can be taken as the scripture of sadhana, which talks about the different variety of sadhanas. And in Bhagavatam, there are 2 sections. One is the teachings of Lord Kapila. The second one is the teachings of Lord Krishna to Uddhava, Uddhava Gita. Thus, by studying through Bhagavad Gita, teachings of Lord Kapila and Uddhava Gita, we can understand what are the different sadhanas. And by studying the remaining portion of Bhagavatam, we can understand how different people have followed this sadhana and perfected their life. Dashamasya Vishuddhartham Navana Mehalakshanam Varnayanti Mahatmanam. The great souls like Vidura and Maitreya describe about these various sadhanas and sadhakas for the purpose of Shrutena Arthena Anjasa. We can understand the essence of the Shrutis easily through the medium of various pastimes. We can see one example. In order to explain the process of transmigration, how karma functions, Narada Muni teaches Prachina Barhi through the medium of allegorical story of Puranjana. So like that, a Siddhanta, a Tattva can be explained through the medium of a story so that people can understand it easily and can practice it easily. So with that intention, all the scriptures are describing this variety of sadhakas. So now, having described different divisions of the Vedas, having seen the essence of the Vedas is in the form of Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam, and that also divided into 3 divisions, sadhana, sadhaka, and sadhya in the form of 10th canto subject matter. Now we'll focus upon only the sadhana. So how Lord Krishna, with the help of Bhagavad Gita, teachings of Lord Kapila and Uddhava Gita, is teaching us that sadhana. What kind of sadhana is teaching us and why he is teaching us? These are the 2 aspects we will be discussing now. So in the Uddhava Gita, 14th chapter, Lord Krishna says, Kalena nashta pralaye vaniyam veda samnita mayado brahmane prokta dharmo yasyam madatmaka. At the time of pralaya, all the Vedic knowledge has been disappeared. And in the next creation, or at the beginning of the creation, I have spoken the Vedic literature, Vedic knowledge to Brahma. Tene Brahma Hridaya Adi Kavaye. So what kind of Vedic knowledge Lord Krishna spoke? Mayado Brahmane Prokta Dharmo Yasya Madatmaka. That Dharma I spoke, practicing which one will come to me. So what is that Dharma I spoke? In the later again the same Uddhava Gita, in the 21st chapter, Lord Krishna says, Veda Brahmartha Vishayas Trikanda Vishaya Ime. In order to describe the process which will bring the Jiva from the material world to the absolute truth, Brahmartha Vishayas, that will bring us to Parabrahma, he spoke the Vedic literature which has got 3 divisions, Trikanda Vishaya Ima. The 3 divisions of the Vedic literature are Karmakanda, Jnana Kanda, Upasana Kanda, which are also called as Yajna Kanda, Brahma Kanda, and Devata Kanda. Through these three sections of the Vedic literature, Lord Krishna describes about various processes for the benefit of all of us. So in the section of Karma Kanda, which is also called as Yajna Kanda, Lord Krishna prescribes about the duties of Varna Ashrama. The living entity, while living in this material world, they are supposed to follow the organized system, that is Varna Ashrama. So when people perform their duties with sincerity and dedication, they can be called as the followers of Karma Kanda. And among the various duties of Varnashrama, there are two important things are mentioned in the Vedic literature. They are Yajna and Dana, which are the two important aspects of a person who is following the Karma Kanda section of the Vedas. Generally, these Karma Kanda section of the Vedas are followed by Grihasthas. The Grihasthas are generally entitled to follow all these Karmakanda section. Either Grihastha can be a Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, but Grihasthas generally follow the Karmakanda section of the Vedas. So Lord Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita 18th chapter he says that why they are supposed to follow Karmakanda section and how they are supposed to follow Karmakanda section is Yata pravrittir bhutanam yena sarvam idam tata swa karmana tamabhyarcha siddhim vinnanti manava. Yata pravrittir bhutanam, as per their psychophysical nature, as per their inclination, they are supposed to follow the duties of the Varnashrama system. How? Tam abhyarcha, as an offering to Supreme Lord, by which Siddhim Vinnanti Manava, the human beings will attain the expected result of Karmakanda section of the Vedas. So what is the result? We will discuss little later. And then from the section of Upasana Kanda, which is also called a Devata Kanda, the Vedic literature talks about various activities performed by various people in the matter of worshipping a particular deity. The deity, either it can be a Devata or it can be the Supreme Lord. Worship of any Devata or any form of Supreme Lord, it comes under the category of Upasana Kanda. So wherein the Vedic literature talks about this, how they do this Upasana. We have in the Bhagavatam, Prahlad Maharaj talking to Hiranyakashipu. He asked, what did you learn? What do you feel the best education? He said that Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, Padasevanam, Archanam, Vandanam, Dasyam, Sakyam, Atmanivedanam. If you remove Vishnu from this verse, if you keep any other name of any Devata, that will be Upasana of that Devata. If you do all these 9 things in relation to any Devata, that is called Upasana of that particular Devata. When we do all these 9 things in relation to Lord Vishnu, it is called Vishnu Upasana. If it is done in relation to Ganesh, it is called Ganesh Upasana, Lord Ganesh. So like that, Upasana is prescribed. So in the Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna mentioned the 4th chapter. He said that very simple thing. Vitaraga Bhayakrodha Manmaya Mam Upasita. Bhavo Jnana Tapasa Puta Madhva Magata. So there are some people giving up attachment to this material world, they take shelter of me and worship me. Manmaya Mam Upashrita. Bhavo Jnana Tapasa Puta Madhva Magata. They have attained my nature. That is fine. In the next verse, a second verse after that, Kangshitam Karmanam Siddhim Yajanta Iha Devata. Shipram hi manusho loke samsiddhir siddhir bhavati karmaja. There are some people in this material world, in order to fulfill their desires instantly, they do worship the devatas of this world, using the same methods. And the 2 important aspects of this upasana is archana. Actually, not 2, 1. The important aspect of this upasana is archana. Wherever we see the devata upasakas or the Vishnu upasakas, all the other activities are connected or rounded around deity worship. This is the main aspect of Upasana Kanda. And Vedic literature have lot of descriptions about how to worship deity, what kind of deity to be worshipped. So all these things are variously described in all the Vedic literature. So Lord Krishna later on mentions in the same Bhagavad Gita 9th chapter, Ananya Chintayantu Mam Ye Jana Paryupasate Tesham Nityabhyuktanam Yogakshemam Vahamiham. And later on in the next life, next couple of verses later, Lord Krishna says that the various people worship different devatas, but in a avidhi purvakam, in a wrong way. So there are some people worship devatas, there are some people worship Lord Vishnu, following the same rituals which are mentioned in the Upasana Kanda section of Vedic literature. So then Jnana Kanda. So this is also called Brahma Kanda. So in which is the main topic of Uddhava Gita and Bhagavad Gita. Lord Krishna gives lot of weightage to this Jnana Kanda section of the Vedic literature. He describes Jnana again and again many times. So herein there are three important aspects. One is Parinamavada, second one is Vivartavada, third one is Sankhya, which are described in the previous chapter. The last chapter, the 20th chapter, Lord Krishna talks about what is Parinamavada, what is Vivartavada, and in the previous chapter he talks about Sankhya. So Vivartavada is that followed by the people whom we can call as Mayavadis. They say that Brahma Satyam Jagan Mithya. Brahman is absolute, it does not go through change. Anything that goes through change in this material world, it is Mithya or it is Maya. Brahma Satyam Jagan Mithya. In the Jagat, everything is changing, constantly changing. That's why it is Mithya. But Parinamavadi, they say that Sarva Vastu Satyamiti, they say that everything is real, but something is eternal, something is temporary. And that which is temporary is nothing but the transformation of the energy of the eternal. The eternal is absolute truth. He has so many energies, out of which one energy is called Prakriti. That Prakriti transforms itself into the material world, which constantly go through change. Absolute truth remains constant, but the material world constantly goes through change. So this is called Parinamavada, which we can call it as Brahmavada. The first one is Mayavada, this is Brahmavada. Then he elaborately speaks about Sankhya. Sankhya is nothing but studying the nature of Purusha and Prakriti. The entire material world is nothing but the manifestation of the combination of Purusha and Prakriti only. So Purusha again has three features: Ishvara, Jiva, and Kala. So, and Prakriti, which is also called as Gunamaya, is used as the object of enjoyment for the Jiva. For the purpose of creating this material world, the Supreme Lord, expanding himself as Kala, he transforms Prakriti in the form of this entire material world, so that living entities come here and enjoy and do whatever they want. So this is called, this Prakriti has three divisions: Pradhana, Avidya, and Vidya. Pradhana, which is nothing but three modes of material nature, which transform in the form of 24 material elements: Mahatattva, Ahankara, mind, intelligence, 5 Jnanendriyas, 5 Karmendriyas, 5 Pancha Mahabhutas, and 5 sense objects. By the combination of all these things, the entire universe is created, and our bodies are also created, by which we can enjoy in this material world. And then, for a Jiva to enjoy in this material world, the same Prakriti manifests the second portion, which is called as Avidya. Only by Avidya, we forget who we are. Originally, we are Mamai Vamsho Jiva Loke Jiva Bhuta Sanatana, or Jivera Sarupai Krishna Nityadas. That Krishna Nityadas thing we forget by Avidya. Avidya had 5 features: Avidya, Asmita, Raga, Dvesha, Abhinivesha. Avidya means we forget our true identity. Asmita means we get a false identity, that is currently I am human being, maybe next life animal, or etc etc. And Asmita is false identity. Raga means as long as I live in this world, I make friends with people who give me happiness. Dvesha means those people stop my happiness, I develop enmity with them. And finally, Abhinivesha, I know that there is something called death. Before death, I want to enjoy as much as possible. So this is how we are bound in this material world. Avidya binds in this material world. But the third portion, which is called Vidya, which will helps us get liberated from this material world. Vidya had 6 sanghas: Karma, Jnana. So here it is called Karma, Jnana, Vairagya, Tapasya, Ashtanga Yoga, and Bhakti. These are the 6 angas of Vidya, which are taught by the portion of this Vidya, practicing which we can overcome the bondage created by Avidya and can attain purification of our existence. So, in the Bhagavatam, keeping this theme in the background, there is one verse comes 5 times or 6 times in the Bhagavatam. This is the long, many times quoted in the Bhagavatam. Arte hi avidyamanepi samsrutir na nivartate. Dhyayato vishayam yasya swapnan anarthagomata yata. Our material existence in this material world is like our experience of a dream. Whatever objects we experience through dream, as soon as you come out of the dream, they have no factual existence. Similarly, whatever experience we go through in the current life as a human being for 60 to 80 years, they are all like a big dream. Because even though they are like the dream objects, we consider them to be real. We always meditate upon them, thinking that they give me pleasure. That thinking of these objects will keep us in this material world, giving us perpetual cycle of birth and death. So this is the main topic of jnana. This is the verse which is the main background of jnana. So now the Vedic literature describes karma kanda, jnana kanda, and upasana kanda. The people who practice these 3 sections can be of 2 categories. Some people may practice these 3 sections of the Vedas for their own benefit. Some people may practice these 3 for the upliftment of their consciousness. Those people who follow karma kanda section of the Vedas for their own benefit can be called as sakama karmis. Their only interest is to enjoy here or enjoy in Swarga by practicing karma kanda section. That can be called as karma. And the jnanis also can be, and the second category, nishkama. They are not interested in enjoying this material world, but they are interested in purifying their heart of material desires. When some person practices nishkama karma yoga sincerely, at the end, one's heart becomes purified, one becomes qualified to practice jnana yoga. Then in jnana yoga, again 2 divisions of people are there. Some people follow for their own benefit, some people follow for the purpose of attaining moksha. The people who follow for their own benefit are called as sakama jnanis. They are interested in puja labha pratishtha. They want to be glorified as great personalities, knowledgeable personalities in the material world. But those people who are nishkama jnanis, they are only aspiring in liberation. Out of 4 purusharthas, dharma, artha, kama are the goals of sakama karmis. Moksha is the goal of nishkama karmis and jnanis. And the third category, again in Devata Kanda also there are 2 categories of people, sakamas and nishkamas. Those people who generally worship devatas are sakamis. They only want the fulfillment of their desires. And those people who worship the Supreme Lord can be sakamis and nishkamis. Some people artho artha jignash, they may come to Supreme Lord for the purpose of fulfilling their desires. But there are some devotees who really worship Supreme Lord in order to become his eternal associates. Ananyas chintayanto mam ye jana paryupasate tesham nitya abhiyuktanam yogakshemam vahamyam. In this verse, the acharyas translated that tesham nitya abhiyuktanam, with a desire to become an eternal associate of Supreme Personality of Godhead in the spiritual world, want to serve the Supreme Lord in one of the 4 rasas, dasya, sakya, vasalya and madhurya. They practice prema bhakti or shuddha bhakti, ananya chintayantu mam, without any desire of any other things. And for them, I take care of their attainment of destination in the spiritual world. That is my responsibility. Yoga kshemam vahamyam. That's what Lord Krishna says. So thus, the Vedas are describing 3 divisions: karma kanda, jnana kanda and upasana kanda, by which they prescribe various sadhanas such as sakama karma, nishkama karma, jnana and also bhakti. This jnana also includes ashtanga yoga, tapasya and vairagya. Various other aspects are also included in that. So then Lord Krishna says, Veda Brahmartha Vishaya Stri Kanda Vishaya Ime Parukshvada Rushya Paruksham Mamacha Priya. The Vedas does not describe you better perform bhakti. Bhakti is the process which gives you best results. It will not take it all. Because Lord Krishna wants the sages to describe this Vedic literature in an indirect way. So all the Vedas only describe karma kanda, jnana kanda and upasana kanda. The bhakti is hidden in the Vedas. It is not directly talked about. So that is the meaning of this. योगा तयो मया प्रोक्ता नृणाम श्रेयो विदिष्टा ज्ञानं कर्म च भक्तिश्चो ना उपाय अन्योस्ति कुत्रचित्. By the medium of these three sections of the Vedas, I teach karma, jnana, and yoga. And these are the three bona fide means of attaining perfection. Other than these three, there is no other way. The same thing Lord Kapila tells in the teachings of Lord Kapila in third canto. Yoga adhyatmika pumsha mat nishreyashaya me. Atyantopatare yatra dukkasya cha sukhasya cha. There are only three means in order to destroy dukkha and obtain sukha. They are Jnana Yoga, Ashtanga Yoga, and Bhakti Yoga. There, Lord Kapila says that it is Jnana, Ashtanga Yoga, and Bhakti Yoga. They directly give liberation in one of the five features. Karma Yoga, it is like by the practice of Karma Yoga, one becomes qualified to practice either Jnana or Yoga, Ashtanga Yoga or Bhakti. There is like a kind of basic principle. But the process which will give liberation is Jnana, Yoga, or Bhakti. Then finally, Lord Krishna says, Mam vidatte abidatte mam vikalpopihate attuham etavan sarva vedartha shabda astaya mam vida maya matra manudhyate pratisidhya prasidati. He says that I describe in the Vedic literature karma kanda, jnana kanda, and upasana kanda. By these three sections, I talk about karma yoga, jnana yoga, and bhakti yoga with the intention, because everyone may not be able to practice bhakti directly. They need a gradual progression. So, what is the gradual progression? For a person in the mode of ignorance, he might practice all the sinful activities. When the consciousness raises, in the mode of passion, one can practice sakama karma. Practice Vedic rules and regulations for the purpose of getting enjoyment in this material world. That is sakama karma. But when that person raises to nishkama karma, giving up sakama karma, that raises to mode of goodness, giving up the mentality of enjoying results, he should perform all the varnashram duties as a matter of duty and offer all the results to Supreme Lord. That is nishkama karma, by which one's heart is purified of all the material desires and one is qualified to practice jnana. Then giving up nishkama karma yoga, which is performed by grihasthas, taking to renunciation, either vanaprastha or sannyasi, one can practice jnana. When one completes jnana, one comes to the stage of Brahma Bhuta platform or Jivan Mukta platform. This is called as a person realizes about his own self. He realizes who is he. Brahma Bhuta Prasannatma na sochati na kangshati. Samas sarveshu bhuteshu. He understands that he is Atma. He is not the material body. He has no connection with the material world. Therefore, he has nothing to get from this material world. He has nothing to lose in this material world. He becomes Prasannatma. And then the Vedic literature explains that neither karma or jnana or ashtanga yoga, they cannot give this result on their own. They need to have some bhakti within it. When a person comes to nishkama karma yoga, he gives up sakama karma. When a person comes to the perfection of nishkama karma, he gives up nishkama karma and practices jnana or ashtanga yoga. When they come to the stage of jivan mukta or samadhi, they even give up jnana yoga or ashtanga yoga, because एक बार समाधि के पास आने के बाद जरूरत नहीं. Once you come to Brahma Bhuta platform, you don't have to practice any more jnana. That is given up. Then what remains is that bhakti alone. Till now it was a small portion, but now it becomes all in all. Mad bhaktim labate param. And then by that bhakti, by practicing that bhakti, a jnani or ashtanga yogi, what happens to him? Bhaktya mam abhijanati yavan yachasmi tatvatah. Tato mam tatvato jnatva vishate tad anantaram. Lord Krishna says, Bhaktya mam abhijanati. They will know by the practice of that bhakti without any tinge of karma, jnana, yoga, tatvatah, in truth. What do you mean by understanding me in truth? Lord says, Tato mam tatvato jnatva. The jnanis and yogis will understand me either in my feature as Tat, means Brahman, or in my feature as Mam, Bhagavan. There could be some jnanis and some yogis who are only interested in entering into Sayujya. They will understand me as Brahman. But some jnanis and yogis are interested in entering into Vaikuntha. They will understand me as Bhagavan. Vishate tad anantaram. Having understanding me in these two features, one of these two features, then they will enter into me. Me means either in Brahman or into Vaikuntha. This is how, by the practice of bhakti, one will attain ultimate perfection. So Lord Krishna says in this Uddhav Gita verse, he says that that's how in the Vedic literature sometimes I am glorified as karma, sometimes I am called as jnana, sometimes I am called as yoga, sometimes I am called as bhakti. But ultimately, sakama karma, nishkama karma, jnana, rashtanga yoga, or bhakti mixed with karma and jnana are in the three modes. All these are considered to be maya. And by giving them all of those things, telling the jiva to practice only pure bhakti without any tinge of karma, jnana, yoga, practicing nirguna bhakti, one will have the realization of me as Brahman or Bhagavan, then they enter into Sayujya or Vaikuntha. This is the essential teaching of Uddhava Gita or Bhagavad Gita by teaching all the different processes. So now in the conclusion, sorry, we are already in just 5 minutes, I will complete. So it says that in Uddhava Gita, Lord Krishna talks about what is the essential thing of jnana. He says that jnana, the essential teaching of jnana is nothing but when we see any sense object, like I am seeing, of course, this may not be the correct example. When a man sees a form of the female, he thinks that this is the object of enjoyment, which is actually made up of 24 elements. A jnani in true knowledge, when he sees the object, the form of a female, he does not see female. He only sees it as made up of 24 elements. He does not see the form as female. He sees them as 24 elements with which that form is made. And even a more perfected jnani will not see not even the 24 elements. He sees it as the source of 24 elements, that is Prakriti or Pradhana. Even the more elevated jnani, he does not even see the Prakriti. He sees Brahman. Because Brahman is the source of Pradhana. Pradhana is the source of 24 elements. The 24 elements are the source of a beautiful, good-looking young woman. So Jnani, when he sees a woman or any sense object, he only sees directly Brahman. This is the essence of Jnana, which was told in the previous chapter. So then, if a person is practicing yoga, what he sees, everything that he sees, he only sees as Paramatma. Of course, for Jnana, we can see it as, it's like, of course, there is some shloka, it is not here. Sarvam kalau idam Brahma. Everything is manifestation of Brahman in this material world. Like that, he sees everything as Brahman. And a yogi, he sees everything as a manifestation of Paramatma. Yomam pashyati sarvatra, sarvancha mai pashyati. Sasyaham na pranashami, sachamena pranashati. Or annantarastha paramanucha antarastham. He sees Paramatma everywhere. Whatever he sees is only Paramatma. If, for example, this good looking decoration, this entire thing, if a jnani sees, he sees it as Brahman. If a yogi sees, he sees it as Paramatma. And same thing if a devotee sees, he sees it as Aham Sarvasya Prabho Mattam Sarvam Pravartate. He sees everything as the manifestation of Bhagavan. A devotee actually sees everything in this material world as a manifestation of Balramji. Balramji is he who expands in the form of spiritual world and material world and every object for the pleasure of the Supreme Lord. So a jnani sees everything as Brahman, a yogi sees everything as Paramatma, a devotee sees everything as Bhagavan. So that we can see as it is like Tavara Jangama Deki, Na Deki Taramurti, Sarvatra Hoya Nija Ishta Deva Spurti. This is the conscience of a devotee. And these three are the essential teachings of Bhagavad Gita and Uddhava Gita. This should be the ultimate position of a jnani, yogi, and a devotee. When one comes to this state, they have achieved perfection in that way. So, last just 2 minutes. So, we took the first verse, that was Vedesha Sarvam Ahameva Vedyo. Lord Krishna told that I am supposed to be known by studying the Vedas. Why you are supposed to be known? Vedanta Krit. Because I have written, I can tell who is supposed to be known, what is the goal of Vedas. So how can you say there are many other philosophers, they say something else is the goal. Vedavid, I only know the Vedas. I mean, they also say they are the Lord of the Vedas. Naham, Chaham, only me, not they. This is the verdict of Lord Krishna. Only me, but no one else know the essential meaning of the Vedas. That's why I am telling I am supposed to be known by studying the Vedas. Okay, my dear Lord. If you are the knower of the Vedas, please tell me the meaning of the Vedas in essence. Then in the next three verses, Lord Krishna speaks the essence of the Vedas. Dvau imau purushau loke ksharak chaksharam ksharas sarvani bhutani kutastu aksharamushati. All the living entities that are there, all the conscious beings that are there in the entire creation can be divided into two categories, Kshara and Akshara. So one translation of Kshara is conditioned souls and Akshara is liberated souls. Another translation of Kshara and Kshara is conditioned souls. Akshara means Brahman, which does not go through any change. The Kshara keeps going through change. Now I am human being, next life I may be animal, next life I may be insect, etc. They are called Kshara. The conditioned souls are Kshara. The Brahman is Akshara. And then in the next verse he says that Uttama Purushastu Anna Paramatmeti Udadruta Yolokatrayam Avisha Bibarti Avya Ishvara. But superior to Kshara and Akshara is Paramatma, who maintain the entire material universe as by becoming Garbhodaksha Vishnu. Then he says that, but superior to Paramatma there is somebody else. Yasma Kshara Matitoham Akshara Dapichotama Atosmi Loke Vedecha Pratita Purushottama. Superior to Kshara, conditioned soul. Superior to Akshara, Brahman. Superior to Paramatma is Bhagavan. There is Bhagavan who resides in Vaikuntha. He is superior to all these people. And he says that among Bhagavans there are many varieties. Among all the variety of Bhagavans, I am Purushottama. Understand that I, Krishna, the Vasudeva Krishna or Parthasarathi Krishna, is Purushottama, best of all Bhagavans. So by speaking this indirectly about different people, directly about different people, Lord Krishna indirectly hinting that for a Kshara to become Akshara, for a conditioned soul to become liberated soul, there are three processes are talked in the Vedic literature. By mentioning about Brahman, Lord Krishna hinting about Jnana. By practicing Jnana, one will have Brahman realization. By mentioning about Paramatma, Lord Krishna hinting about Yoga. By practicing Ashtanga Yoga, one will have the realization of Paramatma. By mentioning about Bhagavan, Lord Krishna is hinting about Bhakti. By practicing Bhakti, one become an eternal associate of Supreme Lord in his various manifestations. But by practicing Shuddha Bhakti, one will become an eternal associate of Lord Krishna in Goloka Vrindavan, serving him in one of the four primary rasas, Dasya, Sakya, Vasalya and Madhurya. This he says in the next two verses. Yomam evam asam mudo janati Purushottama. He who knows me as Purushottama in comparison to Kshara, Akshara, Brahman, Paramatma and Bhagavan, sa sarvavid bhajanti mam sarva bhavena bhavarta. In all aspects he worships me. Then what will he gain by doing that worship? Iti guhyatmam shastram idamukta mayanaga etad buddhva buddhiman se atkrita kritasya bharata. One who knows this called as buddhiman. And this knowledge is guhyatamam, the very topmost secret which one cannot understand directly because it is indirectly told. Only Krishna know about this. Only Krishna can tell about this. That's why he is telling in Bhagavad Gita and Kapila Gita and Uddhava Gita. And nowhere else we find about these teachings. And he says that evam buddhva buddhiman, by understanding this, by becoming buddhiman, kruta kritasya bharata, one does what is supposed to be done. As a result, one gets what is supposed to be attained. That is prema bhakti, or becoming an eternal associate of Lord Krishna in Goloka Vrindavan or in Dwaraka, serving him, Dasya, Sakya, Vasalya or Madhurya rasas. This is the topmost secret of Vedic literature, which Lord Krishna wanted to speak to us through the medium of Bhagavad Gita, Kapila Gita and Uddhava Gita. He is teaching us Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, Ashtanga Yoga and Bhakti Yoga. By Karma Yoga, he is teaching us to get the results of Dharma, Artha, Kama. By Jnana and Ashtanga Yoga, he is teaching us get the result of Moksha. By Bhakti Yoga, he is teaching us get the result of Prema. So this is, as per my limited understanding, the essence of Bhagavad Gita, Kapila Gita and Uddhava Gita. Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity.